Meteorologist Kaitlin Wright here in the WCCB Weather Center. I want to give you an update on the developing winter storm that we have ongoing across the middle of the country right now. This will bring impacts to the Carolinas as we head through the day tomorrow and the potential to linger into Thursday as well. So say hello, let us know where you're joining from, and let us know if you have questions as well. I have my digital team here so they can read me out the questions, and I'm happy to answer anything that you guys have ongoing. So this is right here on satellite right now. This is the winter storm. There's a lot of parts to this. You see the snow in blue, the wintry mix, the sleet, the freezing rain, and then the cold rain. We're going to be kind of somewhere right in the middle of that, actually with a little more snow this time, but I do think it's going to be a wintry mix. So the latest weather alerts, we do have winter weather advisories that go into place tonight. You can see through Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning, which I'll tell you why here in a second. There are actually winter storm warnings, areas to our east and areas all the way to our west as well. And we're just kind of stuck in the middle of this storm, actually. I do expect some impacts, but I do think that they're going to be pretty minor to potentially even just limited impacts here in our area. So you can see that zoomed out. A couple of our counties, Chester, York County, you're not included in any type of advisory or warning in the area. So here's how the day looks tomorrow. Look at this icon at noon. Kind of a wintry mix in Charlotte. We're getting some snow, some sleet, some freezing rain. Not expecting precipitation at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning in Charlotte. And so if you do have a commute time at that time, if you're still traveling to work, taking the kids to daycare, some schools, by the way, we have a running list of school closures at WCCBcharlotte.com. I actually don't know if there's any closures yet, but I do think there's some remote learning days and such, and some delays probably. But as we head through the middle of the day, probably 9, 10 o'clock, we'll start to see that moisture in the way of a mix and snow continue until about 4 or 5 o'clock. So here's what it looks like on Future Track. This is what a lot of people want to see. So this is 3 o'clock in the morning. We're going to start to see some of these bands enter areas of the mountains. I do think we're going to be battling some dry air. So I would give or take an hour, maybe 2 hours to that time, and when you're seeing the onset of some snow. So 7 o'clock, we could see snow reaching the I-40 corridor there around Morganton and Hickory. Check out the temperature in Charlotte at 7, 34 degrees. So we're going to be kind of keeping a close eye on these temperatures and on the dry air to see kind of what precipitation type we get, and if we see that dry air build in, which will in turn end up cutting down on some of these totals. So this is 11 a.m. We're looking at snow to come into the area. I think that this is going to be a little more scattered than what this one particular model is showing. I don't think we're going to see a wall of snow hit the area. I think it's going to be quite scattered. So let's pause this at 2. Getting a little bit of dry air starting to build into areas of the foothills. Still seeing scattered snow showers in the middle of the day tomorrow here in Charlotte. And then by 6 p.m., I would say isolated snow showers. So this is not going to be an all-day snow event tomorrow, but temperatures are going to hover near that freezing mark. Once that sun goes down, temperatures plummet. Look at the map here. Look at these numbers. Into the 20s. So before I talk about this kind of band of snow, I am watching for a refreeze, especially the bridges and overpasses. I think the biggest impacts that we are going to see is with those bridges and overpasses freezing Wednesday night into Thursday morning. It is possible. Models have been pretty consistently showing a second band of snow moving through on Thursday, maybe picking up a 1/4 inch of snow additional from what we saw on Wednesday. So before you ask your questions, I want to show you a couple more maps. Are we getting any questions yet? Okay, let us know if you guys do have any. So this is my snowfall map. You look at Boone, of course, that's the area. There's the legend there. Picking up about 2 to 4 inches. Mainly snow in this I-40 area, possibly a glaze of ice. I don't think ice is going to be a huge threat. Models have backed off a little bit on that ice threat, mainly just looking like a snow event with some sleet mixing in. If we do see a glaze of ice on top of, say, an inch of snow, that will cause some travel issues. So again, That's going to be the biggest threat. A mix of cold rain here in Charlotte. I'm looking at kind of maybe a cold rain, but also snow, maybe a little bit of sleet too. So we're going to see that mix here. Now, I think Mecklenburg County, I grew up here. I grew up in Cornelius, and this always happened. Cornelius would see an inch, but areas in South Charlotte would see maybe a quarter of an inch or just cold rain. So I'm going to go probably a trace to an inch in Mecklenburg County, but if you are up near Lake Norman, you have a higher chance to see that inch threshold, and then a lot lower as you head towards South Charlotte and then into areas of Union County as well. And then likely just a cold rain. Maybe a wintry mix for areas of Lancaster and Chester County, but certainly not looking at too much. We look at the ice totals and ice accumulations, and I'll go ahead and kind of play this out for you. Maybe a 1/10 of an inch for these areas east of I-77, Concord, Salisbury, over through Albemarle, Wadesboro. So again, ice, not the biggest concern. When you're talking about a few 100ths of an inch, that's not that much. Again, bridges, overpasses, maybe accumulating on the trees a little bit, but we're not looking at numerous power outages or anything to that magnitude. This is an event, but it's certainly not a major event for our area. Will just cause some disruptions in travel and some closures as well. Okay, any questions at all?
Just how will the morning commute look on Thursday?
The morning commute on Thursday. That's a good question. So if what the models are saying right now comes to fruition, and if we end up seeing this secondary band, here I'll show you in a second. Let me play out Wednesday. That's 7 a.m., 11 a.m. Wednesday, 2 p.m. Wednesday, 6 p.m. Let's go to Thursday morning here. So if we see this, that could disrupt your morning commute a little bit more. But overall, I think the commute Thursday, I would say Thursday morning, if things don't dry up, any wet surface is going to refreeze. So that's actually where I think we'll have the biggest issue, is going to be on Thursday morning, and we could possibly be seeing more snow flurries. So again, biggest issues Wednesday night, Thursday morning travels because of a refreeze. Okay, and I will check any comments on here, you guys, throughout the evening and go ahead and answer. So if you are watching this a little bit later, say hello, let us know where you're joining from, and I will check back on here as well. You can catch my updated forecast tonight at 10 o'clock. Don't forget to download the free WCCB WeatherWise app. We are always sending alerts out. Myself, Nicole, James, and also the news app. We have a weather story on our website that we will send alerts out to you as well. You guys stay warm, stay safe out there, especially if you do have to drive over some of those untreated roads Wednesday night